What's up, everybody? I'm going to try to do a few videos on building car from the ground up. I'm going to try to do this and show it in little segments and where we start, what we do, how we do it, or way I do it. This is just my take. There's people out there by far better, more skilled, lots of them. But, you know, I try to do everything as cheap as possible, but still safe and right. You know, that's the key. I'm just going to kind of get into it just a little bit. When you start with a car like this, we'll just take and pretty much cut everything out of the car. Everything you can cut. Everything weighs something. If it's riding, it don't need to be riding in a drag car. When we got this car, it was donated to us by Joe Minton, and he got us a body. We took and sawed it, you can see, straight across the wheel tub, all the way around the edge, inner rocker, all the way around, up there around the firewall, way across the top of the firewall, so forth. This car is just on here at the moment just to get everything mocked up as far as the height, the way everything fits. The body will come back off. We will trim all the excess off the inside. When we set it up, a lot of times I'll just set it up on the jig. The jig's pretty easy build. It's just angle iron, so forth. It's got a 4-inch block. Basically, that's the ride height on the car. You can see them right here. It's got slots in them. It's a 2x2, hole sawed in the middle, hose clamps hold it in place. That way you can work and you ain't got to worry about nothing moving while you're hacking. The first pieces that you lay up in this car is this piece right here, this bar, the lower back of the frame rail, and the 2 frame rails. And everything is built off of that, pretty much. I do the cars from back to forward if I'm doing a complete chassis car. Reason being is because you know where the center of this wheel well opening is. By the center of this wheel well opening, you figure everything off of it forward. If you was doing a back half car, it would be opposite of what I'm saying. Basically, you'd start from the center line of the front wheel. You would cut everything out, put everything back in. If you was just doing a back half car. But being this is a complete build where there's no measurements, basically you know where the rear wheel opening is going to be, so you're going to measure everything from there forward and lay it out in the car. I'm going to go over just a few things as far as just like when we set it up, the way I measure it. I just mainly center the main hoop at the door pillar. You can look across it. That way you can kind of get an idea from door to door, so you know where you're at. So you give your driver plenty of room to get in and out. Only time that this bars would be manipulated if for some reason this car, let's say it had a 34 or 36 inch tall tire for some reason, not that it would accommodate that, but if the tire got up in this area, it would crowd this area up in here in growth. So some of these cars are move forward a little bit, but that's pro mods usually. That's just some little side things, you know. A lot of those pro cars, the bars are bent forward in here. In this area, they're bent forward to accommodate some tire clearance. I try to cut everything that I can out. If you'll notice, the door strikers are gone. A lot of times, the time you manipulate these bodies and everything, and put fiberglass or carbon doors on them, the door strikers don't line up. You fight with them for 2 days. I found it is just as easy to remove that crap, bend it up. Basically, once you bend it up, it'll look similar to this on this car where it's crashed, but basically bent up, you just attach it to the cage. Then you don't have to worry about laminations. You lock it in, climb inside and tack it in place and open the door. Game over. Simple and easy. We make all the components. I made the 4-link brackets. We make the anti-rolls. The bearing that's in this right here actually came out of, you can get it at a local parts store. It goes in a Chevy truck output shaft, like a 95 model, and this bearing housing they're made. This piece of 1 5/8 tubing, chromoly tubing. 5 1/4 inches from here to the center to center. The arms, we make them all. There's nothing fancy about it. Like I say, if you're going to build one of these cars, the first thing is just whenever you gut it all, and the first pieces that you're going to lay up is basically the rear of the car, because all the measurements are going to come from the rear end forward, whether you got a staggered wheelbase on one side or not. And, we'll get into that later when I get in the front of the car. I'll make another video showing why the stagger is and what it's there for and so forth. But these are just my views, and like I say, I hope some of these little tricks and stuff that I talk about over these videos, that everybody will maybe get a little something from it. Just some helpful little hints and stuff that we do that's a little different. I'm gonna point out some stuff. For years in these cars, I bent halos in these cars. I don't know if you can see this halo. This halo's right here is bent, and then it's just got an A-pillar bar, and it's bent. Well, when Pete was in the crash at Clay City, this bar right here, where it's been bent, that tubing has been stretched in this area, and it put a tremendous force on it. You can see it right there. It didn't rip it open. Didn't give up. The weld didn't give up. Nothing gave up. But I got to thinking, I got to looking at other cars, and a lot of cars are built that this bar is continuous all the way down to the A-pillar, and then have a roof bar in it here bent. And then I realized why. It's because that bend is so slight, it puts all that energy in all these points. If it is an erect, it gets here. So the new car is going to have a little different design. It actually has got a round tube in here, and it's bent up the A-pillar, and it's got a slight bend right there. I don't know if you can see it. And then it's got a roof bar that's got a slight bend there, which this will all be gusseted in as we go. But it ties in right there. That way, if this car is in another accident, this bar will send all that load in through all those tie-in spots. Instead of it trying to put all that pressure on that bend where it's already thin, it'll take and transfer that all the way back through the cage to there, through all these other points. Make it stronger, maybe, hope. Gonna change the design of the dash bar, change the diameter of it. Went from 1 1/4 in this car to 1 5/8 in that car. We're just gonna do some stuff, try to make the car safer, better. Like in the door bars, I'm gonna change the design of the door bar a little bit. I've talked to the few people at NHRI. They said as long as you have the right SFI stuff that they recommend, whether it be 25-1, 2, 5, whatever you're building, as long as you've got what they say you got to have, if you add something to it, there's no problem. So in the door bar in this car, I'm going to run it down across X, but I'm going to put another bar right here supporting the center. Don't know if it'll help a lot or not, but it can't hurt, because you can see how much it pushed this car in at the base. And if it had another bar going from here to the rocker bar, it would help keep that from bending in. I think So just a few little things we're going to change as we go, but I will do some videos and I'll share some tricks and stuff that I learned along the way of doing this many times. Seems like a gazillion sometimes. But we're going to start making the hood. The green is off the roof of the other car to give the contour. We're going to wind up basically laying molds out of this. It's going to be a carbon fiber mold. The inside of it will be finished, slicked out. That way we'll have a good surface to lay it up. But this here is just basically the design or the contour. I don't know if you can kind of tell the contour it's got in it. So it'll kind of have that Sunoco loop, whatever they call it. I think that's what it's called. But it'll have a little bit of rounded curvature, but it'll all be bondoed up and slicked out on the inside, so we'll have something to lay to. But like I say, I'm just gonna try a few videos and see if people like them. Thanks everybody, and we'll talk to you later.